Hello everybody, welcome to the True Life News Show. Today, this is going to change everything, guys. Everything that I'm about to tell you is 100% promises made, promises kept. We are seeing, for the first time ever, President Trump and his right-hand man, Elon Musk, who is now taking his exit from the Doge, but they are bringing the hammer down on Congress. For the first time, they are actually getting things done. And not just that, the DOJ is getting things done. There are so many reports now. Multiple members are ready to start voting on the Doge cuts, which is amazing. Save our taxpayer dollars. But we officially have it on the schedule for Congress next week. First thing Monday morning, guess what? Doge cuts are going to be voted on. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Finally getting things done. We also have it where, get ready, guys, again, accountability. Getting this, saying this news, I thought I would never say, guys. This is huge. Jill Biden and Hunter Biden, you know, they're related to our former President Joe Biden, have now been subpoenaed to testify in front of Congress, guys. This is insane. Both Jill and Hunter Biden have been subpoenaed to testify in front of Congress about Joe Biden's mental decline before Congress. They have pardons, but these are preemptive pardons. We also have new evidence that shows that Biden had no clue these pardons were even given till after he was done being president. Guys, this is a huge, crazy situation. It's super crazy, super messy, but what I love is the accountability is finally happening. We have Dan Bongino, who has just announced the Trump FBI is doing a full-scale investigation into the origins of COVID involving multiple field offices. We have Fauci's cover-up, guys, because you know he did it, but they're going to bring him before Congress. And then if he lies, he will have committed perjury and they will hold him in contempt. We have so much breaking news to go over today, guys. This is huge. A federal judge just gave Doge the green light to access sensitive payment data in the Treasury Department. This might be Doge's biggest win yet, to be able to see all the money that's going in the details within the Treasury, which controls trillions of dollars in payments, guys. This is huge. And with the first round of votes for the Doge cuts to be happening this Monday, going on the foreign funding, defunding NPR and PBS, our girl Marjorie Taylor Greene is leading the charge on these votes, guys. We are seeing history in the making. We've got so much bombshell news for you today, guys. This is lovely. I love it. And guys, there's just so much. There's so much, guys. We have now declassified documents pertaining to the Steele dossier, the Russian hoax scandal, and guess what? The Democrats knew, they didn't prosecute, and Trump is winning. America is winning. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching today, guys. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate you so much, all of our subscribers, all of our viewers. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family here at True Life News, clicking that subscribe button. We want to take care of you every day with the top news. There's so much going on, but we do our best to bring you the best show every single day, bring all the value, all the receipts, so that you're taken care of and you are fully informed. I want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel. Thank you so much for your continued support. Remember, when you're a member of the channel or you give a super chat, we give this money to local charities. And this is on the 22nd of every single month. You're seeing this guy give to a local charity. And this past month, we just gave $3,000 to a local charity children's home, guys. It is beautiful. It's live on stream. There's no trying to put it anywhere else besides giving back to these charities, guys. It is life-changing. I want to give some love to Lisa B and Elaine Demeen. Guys, show them some love in the chat. And if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting that thumbs up like button, we are living in history right now. Number one is we actually have Doge cuts scheduled on the House floor because of all the online campaign pressures. Jill Biden and Hunter Biden have now been subpoenaed, guys, officially subpoenaed to testify in front of Congress about Joe Biden's decline. Dan Bongino has announced that the Trump FBI is doing a full-scale investigation involving multiple field offices into the origins and the COVID to hold them accountable. We also have where we have revealed an undeclassified documents showing that the Democrats covered up the Steele dossier, the Russian hoax scandal, guys. This is huge news today. But what I love is you got two people, President Trump and Elon Musk, who are making things happen. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Check this out.
Amid the push for Trump's big, beautiful bill, are headwinds coming from some big-name fiscal conservatives. Ron Johnson, Rand Paul, Rick Scott, all publicly frustrated with a reconciliation bill that the Congressional Budget Office claims is going to add to our national debt. Now, the White House claims the CBO is wrong on that. We're going to get to that here in a moment. But in addition to three very popular GOP senators showing frustration, we also have Elon Musk, who's one of the most important people in Trump's orbit.
Boom.
Elon went viral this week when he slammed this bill, claiming it is a budget buster that undermines the work that Doge is doing.
Disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing. I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it can be both.
There you have that. Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis actually jumped on Elon's side, tweeting out to see Republicans in Congress cast aside any meaningful spending reductions and, in fact, fully fund things like U.S. aid is demoralizing and represents a betrayal of the voters who elected them. Big statement. He also said this.
Elon Musk went into this Doge effort. He was getting lampooned. I mean, like, they're firebombing his Tesla dealerships, media smearing him relentlessly. His businesses suffered. And yet, we have a Republican Congress. And to this day, we're in the end of May, past Memorial Day, and not 1 cent in Doge cuts have been implemented by the Congress. And I don't think there's any question.
Guys, and again, too, full context is that Doge is not stopping. Doge is pressing ahead. This is some of the biggest news, and they say is the biggest win of the Doge team thus far, that a federal judge just gave Doge the green light to access sensitive payment data in the Treasury Department. This is huge. We need to be able to see where the money is going, who's getting it, and actually hold them accountable, and that's what's about to happen. So regardless, we know that Congress can't cut spending for nothing because they, for some reason, are tied to something. Lobbyists, you tell me, guys, but this is huge that we're actually seeing that the Doge team is still continuing to press on.
And that Doge fought the swamp, and so far the swamp has won.
It's interesting because it's easy to love Trump, love the agenda he has, but also at the same time very much agree with what Ron DeSantis just said, what Elon Musk just said, which is what makes this so complicated, right? Those kind of comments, exactly, clearly got the attention of the right people as Republicans push their big, beautiful bill, because the White House announcing today it's quickly putting together a $9.4 billion rescission package.
Right there, guys.
Is what they call it, to send over to Speaker Mike Johnson in the coming days. So what's that? Well, these are cuts. It's a cut package that'll codify Doge's cuts to NPR and to PBS. Also, major cuts to several ridiculous expenditures of foreign aid, including reducing xenophobia in Venezuela, Sesame Street in Iraq, sedentary migrants in Colombia, and tons and tons and tons more. It's $9.4 billion in cuts being sent to Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, from the White House. So obviously
And guys, remember, we bring the receipts, guys. This is huge. The House will vote on Monday on the first round of Doge cuts officially to defund NPR and PBS and some of that foreign aid spending, guys. This is what I'm talking about, that we finally have the pressure that we can show to Congress from the White House, from influential voices, that we're not going to accept it anymore. We want them to serve us, because they don't right now. They sent over a bill with no Doge cuts whatsoever, no cut to anything that was related to what Trump and his entire team have been working hard on for the past 4 months. And finally, like people like Marjorie Taylor Greene are fighting for we the people, baby. Want to say, if you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. Greg, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. He said, Hovel family from London, say let's go MTG. I love it. Y'all show Greg some love in the chat.
Message was sent very loudly from Elon, from Ron DeSantis. We want to see you guys cutting this government down.
Yes.
Not spending, spending, spending. We just went through 4 years of that. That's what gave us inflation. We want to see some action, and the action is now coming. But what's the real story with the big, beautiful bill, which, of course, is aside from the rescission package? We've had guests who come on this show quite often, some of our favorite people, and they give it to us very straight. And they have some real issues with this bill. For the past couple of weeks, we've spoken to Chip Roy, Ron Johnson, Rand Paul, fiscal hawks who say not nearly enough is being done to cut the level of spending that gave us such crippling inflation. Here was Ron Johnson just last week.
You're missing the forest that's on fire for the twigs and leaves, quite honestly. I mean, we're going to spend $89 trillion over the next 10 years, taking about $67 trillion in revenue. So that's $22 trillion added to our national debt, taking it from 37 to 59 trillion. This bill, by my calculation, you can dispute it, add another $4 trillion. It doesn't solve the problem. It exacerbates the problem.
Wow.
So, again, easy to be quite understanding of his position in this thing as well. The CBO claims that this non-discretionary big beautiful bill is going to add $3.8 trillion to our deficits and to our debt over the next 10 years. Now, Peter Navarro is going to contest that claim here in just a moment. But regardless, there is clearly frustration that more is not being done to curb spending. Americans that voted for Trump look at that big, nasty government in Washington and want to get it slashed to bits. That's part of what we so viscerally love about Trump, is that he hates the government as much as we do.
Guys, and again, too, pit bulls are coming out. We know that there is more and more people that are standing up to say what? Limit the size of government. Stop continuing to increase the spending. Check this out. Representative Anna Paulina Luna, a Republican of Florida, on no Doge cuts said, I'm fed up. We fought tooth and nail to get President Trump back in office, the best president of our lifetime, MAGA baby, and yet this Congress has no urgency, no backbone, no vision. Well, guess who's leading the cause? It is who? Mike Johnson. And that's where we're getting to our point, guys. The pressure is coming on Mike Johnson to actually do his dang job and get things done in Trump's agenda. But not only that, but to also actually cut and limit the size of the federal government. We just found out, that he bends the knee, he bends backwards for anybody to try to get things done, and all it's doing is sucker punching the American people. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Bill makes tax cuts from 2017 permanent. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime. Very good things, right? Tired of spending and sending so much money to Washington? This helps alleviate a lot of that. Enhances what we saw in 2017 from that first tax cut from Trump. It ramps up defense spending, which most MAGA people support as well. We need to have a strong military. That's very core to what government should be doing. One of the functions we should keep is a strong military, of course. It adds a huge pile of money for deportations, for the wall, and for border security. Also things that most MAGA Republicans, most Trump voters fully support. You have to fix what Joe Biden just did to the country for 4 years. And at the same time, it works to kick illegals off of Medicaid and add work requirements to weed out welfare hustlers in this country. Very many able-bodied people in this country, young people that sit around collecting your money when they could be working. And it works to get rid of that as well. The bill is critical to achieving Trump's broad agenda, but part of that agenda was also cutting out of control government spending, which is what has decimated our net worths over the last few years, decimated our quality of life, why it's so hard to afford everything, why so many Americans have such high household debt, so much credit card debt, everything else. Here was the president earlier this afternoon.
I'm not happy about certain...
Guys, I just got to say it. Look at Judge Jeanine Pirro in the background, has officially been sworn in. And guess what? Guess who's leading the charge on the subpoenas for Jill Biden, for Hunter Biden, on Joe Biden's decline, which we're going to show you in a moment? Right there, standing right next to Trump, guys. We are getting accountability finally, guys. Finally, over the corruption that has happened over the past 4 years.
Aspects of it, but I'm thrilled by other aspects of it. That's the way they go. It's very big. It's the big, beautiful bill. But the beautiful is because of all of the things we have. The biggest thing being, I would say, the level of tax cutting that we're going to be doing. We're going to make people really be able to, we'll have the lowest tax rate we've ever had in the history of our country, and tremendous amounts of benefit are going to the middle income people of our country, low and middle income people of our country.
Guys, and we are finally seeing it happen, but I got to show you this, because nobody thought that this was going to happen. Everybody thought this was impossible, guys, but Jill Biden and Hunter Biden, being subpoenaed to testify in front of Congress about Joe Biden's mental decline, guys. This is huge. Right here, we're finally seeing that there is pit bulls in Congress, guys. There is pit bulls, and guess what? It gets even worse. Look at this. Biden's autopin scandal grows as Watchdog finds no evidence former POTUS knew about the signed orders. Everything is coming out. Let's go. Fred Samuel, thank you so much, brother, for your support and joining the family. Y'all show Fred some love in the chat. Every single thing that we are catching, we're exposing. We're showing everybody that, you know what? We bring the receipts. We're showing that we have not had the United States of America over the past 4 years. We've had a shadow government, and it's getting even deeper, everybody. Check this out.
Same fight you see going in the arc of instability. The same things we talk about every day, these budgets, the spending, out of control, a elite apparatus that will not listen to the American people, and particularly will not listen to and is quite dismissive of MAGA.
Calling, voices crying.
Well, I get a different opinion. I happen to think MAGA has been on the cutting edge of warning and using human agency to bend the arc of history in this country. And your greatest fights are in front of you. And I realize a lot of people are tired. Hey, it's so, the precinct strategy and everything you do, hey, it's so tired. Trump won. It's all perfect. Well, Trump won, and it's not perfect. It's damn good.
Yes.
And directionally, it's unbelievable of what he's doing.
Against the print.
And this is why I say consistently, General Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and Donald Trump. One at the birth of the nation, the second at the rebirth of the nation, and the third at the rejuvenation of the nation. And just at this time, and there ain't no coincidences, in the 250th anniversary of Lexington and Concord,
Voice in the mist
and
and I looked, and behold, a pale
Bunker Hill, and eventually the Declaration of Independence and the entire long war. Trump is back. Polling is out on Lindsey Graham in South Carolina in his reelect. I think he's got 37% approval among Republicans. And as you know, South Carolina is pretty MAGA. Are we following Lindsey Graham's policy in Ukraine right now? Because I say we're getting sucked into this war every second of every day. Or are we following President Trump's? And is it he downloaded 100 guys out of the NSC because they were all detailees from the deep state? Is President Trump now overwhelmed by deep staters and really not following the policy that he's advocated from day one? He wants a peace deal. He wants the guns laid down. He wants to stop this nonsense, sir.
Yeah, well, I want to know who's around him and who's advising him. And you mentioned Lindsey Graham, and Congress is given the unique role to declare war, the War Powers Act. The president has, limited powers in the short run. Where is Congress? You've been on this for years.
Let me tell you this, guys. Congress, it blows my mind that we are seeing more of Trump's cabinet team actually doing the work that Congress should be doing. And even Trump's DOJ. Look at this. Dan Bongino announces the Trump FBI is doing a full-scale investigation into the origins of COVID, involving multiple field offices. This is what Congress should have done. They questioned Fauci, but guess what? Nothing got done. What I love is that Trump is not only getting things done through his executive orders, but he also has his cabinet team that is making things happen every single day, just like this. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. We are seeing a revolution that Congress is doing nothing. It's the Trump's dream team that is actually making things happen. Listen to this.
Years, right? Congress still has not made any definitive statements. The Congress or the Senate, the Foreign Relations Committees, the Senate is supposed to be the old gray hair wise men on these matters. And if they make one mistake, they lose their next election. So they're quiet.
Yes.
But it looks like all of President Trump's agenda is at risk here. All of it. The whole thing, all the economic stuff, all the tariff stuff, all goes down in flames if this war lights up, right? And that is the deep state objective.
Hold it. Hang on, slow down.
Yeah.
Hit pause. Go back and explain that. We had Mark Mitchell on this morning of these unbelievable numbers, not just the MAGA, because we love it, but now people are waking up to what he's doing. Middle East, tariffs, the economy, all this. You've got, he's on a roll on so many. We just got the Peter. We're supposed to spend the whole hour Peter Navarro. We are going to get to it. This incredible piece in the Hill to talk about the economic upside of where we're going. What do you mean it's all in jeopardy? Do you think he loses all of that if we're drawn into this war in Ukraine, which obviously we're being drawn in every second of every day, sir?
Yeah, if you just look at any information source, right? I was looking at the conference board today, whoever runs that joint, right? It turns consumer confidence has jumped up spectacularly. You wouldn't know it. And expectations, consumer confidence up 12 points. Expectations on the futures up 17 points. What do you think a war does to those expectations? What do you think a war does to Wall Street, right? They're walking a tightrope right there, right? Trump's throwing spaghetti out there on the wall just brilliantly. And he's searching for that golden sweet spot, that equilibrium between the bond market and economic growth and the big, beautiful bill and monetary policy and geopolitics and the labor force and education and Harvard and all of it, right? And so a war disrupts all of that.
Yes.
A war, it's the headlines are shot. Nothing trumps existential threat to life, right? And if, the team better fit.
And remember, guys, Russia has the most nuclear weapons in the entire world. We're going to show you a picture in a moment, but they do have it. So Trump's smart. He's playing the game. But he does know that if it wasn't, guys, and this is what people need to know, because this is what will protect America, not just for today, but for the future, is that we didn't have a president and the Democrats lied to everybody, guys. The whole thing is getting deeper. What I have to show you in a moment, it's going to make you sick to think that we had a shadow government that was being controlled by people that you've never heard of, you've never seen, don't even know their names because of this scandal that's coming out, guys. Biden's auto pen scandal grows as Watchdog finds no evidence, guys. We're talking no evidence. Former POTUS knew about signed orders. Now we're dealing with the Russia war, Ukraine. We're dealing with all the invasion still of trying to clean up America because of this right here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because, again, it gets deeper.
Figure out every lever we have to pull with respect to Russia and pull it immediately, right? Trump's out there sending all the right signals, right? What are you doing, right? Yeah, I'm not happy. I'm not happy what you're doing over there, buddy. but it needs to go to the next level. Congress and the Senate need to step up to the microphone today and take a little risk on themselves. And you lay out what is the consequence to Russia for these actions, right? And
hang on, let me get Harnwell in here, because Dave, correct me if I'm wrong. This audience turfed out Mitch McConnell as leader 2 years ago when he had to make or break Ukraine. He sacrificed his time as leader. He knew he was doing this because the only way they could try to get this huge bill passed to support Ukraine, which turned out to be an epic fail. But you got so many out of control deep state hawks in the Senate that I don't know if you're going to get it. Brad, your observation, sir.
Only increase over time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we were debating 2 or 3 regions. Now it's 4 or 5 regions plus. And so, yeah, it's Trump has trying to be fair, as you said. But fairness in war, Putin holds all the cards. He's taken the ground, and you better make a deal of any sort before the terms get even worse.
I think you say
one last comment here. I made the observation of what's at stake economically for our lives here. President Trump and the Congress, right? Harnwell's right about the Congress. They're feckless on these matters. They've proven it over the past couple of years. But the president needs to shine the light on Congress and make them come up with authoritative statements on all the pressure we can bring to bear on Russia. And we need to use the trade war and every lever we have to go after China to put maximal pressure on Russia as well, as long as Europe and all our friends. Right now, we need to play very strong and hard.
Guys, and that is exactly, again, it's all hands on deck right now, guys. What you're seeing right now is not only is Trump steering the ship of putting America back on track, but he's also helping the economy. And then we're also doing this, what you're seeing on the screen. Declassified documents prove top Democrats lied to Congress. Deputy Attorney General Bruce Ohr's wife, Nellie, drafted the so-called Steele dossier. Do y'all remember this, guys? The Russian collusion hoax, the Steele dossier, all this stuff. Well, guess what? We just uncovered evidence that they did not even prosecute her because she was related to the Attorney General. So right now, all this is coming back up. We are seeing the lies that they tried to put on Trump. They tried to put on Republicans, on conservatives, on MAGA, and everything is being exposed right now. And what I love is that they are retroactively, now we're going back through into every single step of what happened with all the spending, all the money that was spent during Biden's tenure. Because guess what? It was taxpayer dollars, it was fraud, it was corruption, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because I love what you're about to see. This is pit bulls doing their dang job of representing us, we the people in Congress. Check this out.
Mrs. Boebert from Colorado.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for being here to our witnesses. I just want to start by saying that the Inflation Reduction Act, the idea of it creating jobs is a myth. This is something from the federal government, and it's actually destroying our grid, and it's harming every American with inflation and less economic opportunity. The IRA is actually diverting investments to uncompetitive businesses and jobs. These businesses cannot compete in our market. It's literally one side of the government choosing winners and losers, and we are paying millions for EV jobs that pay less than the national average. The IRA disproportionately benefits China by increasing the demand for Chinese companies, and they really dominate the solar and wind supply chains and directly subsidize Chinese-owned solar and wind projects operating in the U.S. So I just wanted to clear that up. It was never about reducing inflation. The American people were lied to. It was an Inflation Expansion Act, not reduction. But onto our witnesses. Dr. McBride, do you know how much CBO originally said how much the Inflation Reduction Act would cost? in renewable
Yes.
subsidies?
Yes, in total, including the tax side and the spending side, $370 billion for the climate programs.
$370 billion as we are over $36 trillion in debt. And we know that the original estimates weren't correct that we were given. So what is the real cost of the green energy tax credits?
Well, the credits alone, that was about $270 billion originally estimated. Now looks to be about $1 trillion or $1.2 trillion when you include the interactions with regulations like the tailpipe rules.
Absolutely incredible.
So you hear this, guys. They went from saying and telling everybody and the American people it's going to cost $350 billion, and now it is 3x that. Now it is over $1 trillion in additional spend, guys. This is why we're so much in debt. The government is the worst at actually calculating what we're going to spend our money on. The regulators get involved. That's why this is so important, everybody, that a federal judge just gave Doge the green light to access sensitive payment data in the Treasury Department. I bet you anything people are getting paid off, family members are being taken care of, and we're about to see where the money is actually going. You just heard him, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, how do you go from, hey, we're going to spend $350 billion, and then now it's over $1.1 trillion, 3x that? This is why government is so corrupt. You can't bet on anything that they say. It takes the outsiders to actually come in and expose them, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Mr. Lieberman, these renewable energy tax credits will cost the American people approximately up to $4.6 trillion by the year 2050. Will the green energy sources by themselves support the current energy requirements of the United States?
I don't know if I'd go as far as some people who say they're parasitic energy sources. That might be a little too far, but we know that wind and solar are just not available 24/7. There will always have to be a need for other energy sources to make sure that we have reliable electricity, and policies like those in the Inflation Reduction Act make it very hard to ensure reliability.
Absolutely. And I think there are many of us here who are for that all of the above energy approach, but it's when we're subsidizing and promoting China, lifting them up, using the American tax dollars to pay for this, that's where we have a problem with it. Mr. Lieberman, given the growing demand for power in the U.S., what are the unintended risks to our electric grid that we're facing with these displacing proven energy methods?
Well, the North American Electric Reliability Corporation, or NERC, just recently released their summer assessment. They're warning about potential blackouts in the U.S. and North America over the summer.
Wow.
And they specifically mention times of low wind and solar. They also mentioned bringing coal offline and not replacing it with anything that's as reliable. And having followed these NERC studies for a number of years, their warnings are getting stronger and stronger, and the links that they're drawing to wind and solar are also being stronger and stronger. This is real. We saw in Spain and Portugal very serious blackouts. They're being studied. We don't have definitive answers yet. So, but those are two countries with a lot of wind and solar. We can't draw conclusions yet, but there's some real reliability risks.
Yes. And their energy sources are unreliable, and that's why we've seen it in California. We've certainly seen brownouts there. In Colorado, they've begun to shut down our coal-fired energy plants, and they want to stop mining the coal, arguably the cleanest coal in the world, right there in Colorado. And our communities are being regulated into poverty because of it. But this so-called Inflation Reduction Act, it's a disaster for our energy and the costs and the economy. It's really, this act is what has caused so many problems in increased energy prices. It was a shameful boondoggle, and it's pushing this unreliable sources, wind and solar, while taxing our dependable oil and gas. So I want to thank the witnesses for being here, and I yield.
Guys, this Again, every single thing that we are exposing right now, this is why Trump's approval daily tracking rating, guys, is now at 53%, guys. 53% approval, or are we on the right track? Trump is 100% doing things that no other representative has ever done. Why? Because guess what? He's different. When we look at the tariff policy, the border policy, when we look at just common sense policies, I love this chart, guys. Look at this. Approval. 53%, baby. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Fred Samuel, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. He said, I'm going to Washington, D.C. on June 13th. I'm going to try to speak with Mike Johnson. If I get, I'm going to tell him what everyone thinks. Let's go, brother. Thank you so much, Michelle Eisner, for the super chat. Y'all show Michelle and Fred some love in the chat, everybody. Because, again, we're only getting started on the exposure of what actually happened during the Biden administration, because this gets even worse. What I'm about to show you guys is so un-American. It breaks my heart that this happened, but when you have these leftists, crazy leftists operating and controlling the auto pin, this is what you get, what you're about to see next.
Were suspended from duty in this matter is the subject of an internal investigation. This is a pattern. Remember the agent on Kamala's detail that threw a maxi pad at her supervisor? What's going on here? How deep does DEI go? A whistleblower says Biden was secretly giving out free money to farmers, but not if you were a white guy.
It was to pay off anyone who wasn't a white male, Sloan. That was the only qualification for this loan forgiveness.
And what was the reaction?
So it was really silent. They were trying to keep this hushed because of the obvious implications of race-based loan forgiveness.
White farmers sued Biden and won, but that didn't stop Joe. The whistleblower says after the lawsuit, Biden still only gave money to black farmers. That's over now, we think, but the system's still being gamed. Here's what you're paying for.
The truth is, y'all hating on me because I live rent-free and I can afford the luxuries that y'all dream about for me and my kids. I'm going to continue to buy my luxury bags while the government pay my rent. I'm going to continue to go on trips and do the things that me and my kids love to do while y'all struggle to pay for a grocery bill and I'm swiping my EBT card.
And in North Carolina.
That is what is wrong with America. Entitlement. Can you believe what you just heard? She's not the only one, guys. I've grown up with people who literally told me, yeah, I gotta have at least 5-6 kids so that way I can get as much money from the federal government and I ain't gotta work and I just live off of the food stamps, I live off the free housing, and I get to do whatever I want. Like, are we not in a place where we need a revolution of our minds? Like, the reality that some people live because of the entitlements is mind-blowing. Because think about it. If a mom is thinking that, she's probably teaching her kids to think that as well.
Councilwoman Tijuana and her 2 daughters have been indicted on wire fraud and conspiracy charges. Prosecutors say the Charlotte clan stole $125,000 in COVID relief.
Wow.
Some of that money was used to throw a lavish birthday party. There, Tijuana is getting on her chariot. There's waste fraud in every corner of the country. It's probably the thickest in D.C. Big balls can only do so much. Every time they make a move, they catch heat. Elon says Doge is just becoming the whipping boy for everything. So, like, something bad would happen anywhere, and we would get blamed for it, even if we had nothing to do with it. It doesn't help that Democrats want to lock up the guy finding the fraud.
Democrats need to make clear we're not going to go easy on this guy if we retake the majority. We can use our peanut and investigative power in a majority to look into Musk.
Washington doesn't like Elon, and I feel like the feeling's mutual. Musk doesn't like the big, beautiful bill.
So, I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing.
I actually thought that when this big, beautiful bill came along, everything he's done on Doge gets wiped out in the first year.
Wow.
I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful. But I don't know if it could be both.
God, that's so
My personal opinion.
heartbreaking.
Trump says the big, beautiful bill isn't perfect, but it'll have to do.
We have to get a lot of votes. We can't be cutting. We need to get a lot of support. I'm not happy about certain aspects of it, but I'm thrilled by other aspects of it. That's the way they go. It's very big. It's the big, beautiful bill. But the beautiful is because.
But just think about it, guys. How much of this bill is being pushed by rhinos, deep staters, people that could care less about the average American person? They want to go in, continue the spending of the USAID, the Green New Scam, all this stuff. And this is the thing. Trump wants the tax cuts because that affects the Americans the most. He wants to make sure that we fund the border because it affects Americans the most. But what sucks is that we still have a fully infiltrated Republican Party that is not fully MAGA, that still bends the knee to these people, these lobbyist guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this, again, you have to deal with the cards you're played with, but hopefully this is just exposing all the fake rhinos. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, I'm so ready for another revolution in the entire Congress of the Republican Party.
Because of all of the things we have.
Fox and Friends weekend co-host, big, beautiful Charlie Hurt. Before we get to legislation, I know I needed you to answer this question. Can you buy a designer bag with an EBT card?
You know, it's remarkable. It's amazing the stuff that you can buy in America. It's a free country with an EBT card. You can buy whatever you want. And, you know, it's so funny because if you actually cared about people who were relying on EBT cards and their children, you might limit what they could buy. I'm just thinking, just spitballing.
I'm sure the kids don't love the purse. I'm sure the kids might want something else besides the purse. Probably anything but the purse. How about the councilwoman ripping off taxpayers for $125,000 and throwing herself a birthday party? You expect regular citizens maybe to commit fraud, but when you're a councilwoman, Tijuana, come on.
Put them in jail, guys.
Jesse, you remember when we had all those advertisements on TV for Girls Gone Wild, and you could get the tapes? This is what we have now, except it's bureaucrats gone wild. It's politicians gone wild. And when you give them money, when you give them unfettered access to our tax dollars, this is what you wind up with, especially when you have a president under Joe Biden, who is going around and hiring people based on the color of their skin or whatever other stupid, idiotic, irrelevant things that he was, judging people on. You wind up with clowns like this in the federal government. You wind up with politicians like this who think that they can get away with stuff like this.
Wow. And I just want to go on the record. I never bought the Girls Gone Wild video. My friend may have, but I never purchased it ever. Not with an EBT card.
I didn't even know they were for purchase.
Yeah,
I just thought they were just ads.
I'm hearing about it for the first time. And actually, I'm hearing about this for the first time, Charlie. We have a Fox News alert. Elon Musk's time at Doge is coming to an end, starting tonight. Musk just announced, as my scheduled time as a special government employee comes to an end, I would like to thank President Trump for the opportunity to reduce wasteful spending. The Doge mission will only strengthen over time as it becomes a way of life throughout the government.
Yes.
What do you think about him leaving at this point?
You know, imagine the frustration of a guy who has done all that Elon Musk has done, all of it through private enterprise. He's built rocket ships. He's done more to advance the electric automobile industry than any living person in terms of connecting people around the world to the internet. And then he's finally met his match, and it's the federal government.
Wow.
And he goes into the federal government and did an honorable job of cutting spending, but politicians can't keep their hands off of our money at the end of the day.
Wow. It's like why successful people don't like to go into politics. If you're Trump, they shoot you in the head. If you're Musk, they burn your cars. Why would you?
Exactly.
The big, beautiful Charlie Hurt.
Exactly.
Good to see you. Michelle Obama
Guys, let
and
me tell you
autism.
this. the more and more that we dig into every single aspect of what I'm about to show you next, you cannot make this up. That every person that we have been exposing on this channel, now they're coming across, and these are Democrats that have fully said this, that everything that the Letitia James, Alvin Bragg, Trump lawfare, all this was wrong. You cannot make up what I'm about to show you, because we have Trump's dream team that is making things happen, and we love it. But it's so crazy that now you have Democrats and left-wing media outlet news reporters that are about to say that going after Trump was wrong, even though they were the person that were going after Trump and saying that they should get him. Listen to this.
I look at the way I covered, the president, some of the trials of the president, I thought were, I think it is problematic when people run for prosecutor and promise to go after a specific politician. And both Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York, and Alvin Bragg, the District Attorney of New York,
guys,
both of them did that.
I am so sorry. Here, I got it for you.
I look at the way I covered, the president, some of the trials of the president, I thought were, I think it is problematic when people run for prosecutor and promise to go after a specific politician. And both Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York, and Alvin Bragg, the District Attorney of New York, both of them did that. And that, to me, is problematic, because you're not saying this is the offense and we need to bring justice to this perpetrator. You're saying, I'm going to go after him. And I think that there was a degree to which that was tolerated by the media writ large. I mean, I did note it at the time, but and when Trump does the same thing, and he's the president, so it's also a different degree, people perceive it as more problematic.
Do you hear this, guys? I'm telling you, that's why I'm super happy to show you this on the screen, is because there's so much back and forth. We need to hold people accountable. We need to make sure that every single crime that was committed under the Biden administration by the Biden administration, including the invasion of our country, people are held accountable. Dan Bongino announced that the Trump FBI is doing a full-scale investigation into the origins of COVID involving multiple field offices. We're finally putting forth our arm in making sure that we get to the bottom of this stuff. Listen to this.
Taking a closer look at 3 of DC's biggest unsolved mysteries in recent history, all of which were investigated under the Biden administration without yielding any results. So what are they? David Spunt, live from the Justice Department with more. Good morning, David.
Dana, good morning to you. This news coming from Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino. Let's see what he posted over the weekend on social media. Then I'll take you through each of the cases. He said, we made the decision to either reopen or push additional resources and investigative attention to these cases. The cases are the D.C. pipe bombing investigation, the cocaine discovery at the prior administration's White House, and the leak of the Supreme Court Dobbs case. That's the case overturning Roe v. Wade. I received requested briefings on these cases weekly, and we are making progress. Let's start with the pipe bomber. The Bureau continues to analyze video of a masked suspect planting a pipe bomb near the bench outside both the DNC and RNC headquarters on January 5th, 2021, the night before the attack on the U.S. Capitol. Luckily, no one was injured and the bombs did not detonate. The second investigation Dana Bongino and Director Kash Patel want to look into, the cocaine found at the White House in July 2023. It was found in a locker of the West Wing of the White House in a publicly traveled area where tours go by, but the Secret Service never identified a suspect. Finally, the third case, the leak of the Supreme Court draft overturning Roe v. Wade in the spring of 2022. This is a big one. Politico received a draft copy and published it weeks before the Supreme Court overturned the federal right to abortion. As to how the reporters received it, we still don't know. The Supreme Court, Dana and Bill, did an internal investigation through the marshal of the court, but they never were able to publish any information or never were able to find it, or they did find it. We just don't know who they are. But now the FBI is taking a look. Back to you.
We'll find out what happened.
Again, the Biden administration investigated, found nothing Big surprise there. And then now we're actually getting real people that want to bring justice to the matter, guys. This is what I appreciate about Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and Pam Bondi. And we know that it's taking time, but at least we now are starting the investigations because, like Bongino said, we got to do it right. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is what matters to me, is that we change the culture of Congress, of DC, so that we can get on a more path of serving we the people.
Thanks, David.
So a lot to get to. Trey Gowdy joins us now. Trey, nice to see you, host of Sunday Night in America. I want to go over a couple things here. On the Supreme Court deal, Kerry Urban was reporting that they interviewed 120 people and they all signed affidavits. And they also interviewed all the 9 justices, but they did not sign affidavits. And I think what Dan Bongino and maybe Kash Patel are doing is kind of interesting. Yesterday, Bongino sent this long post out on X, and here's the one I want to read to you. The director and I have done only one media interview together. We decided early on to limit our media footprint overall in order to keep the attention on the work being done. That said, here is a clip from that one interview, May 18th with Maria. Watch.
Look, I can speak to the folks that were in our seats, our predecessors, and they intentionally failed the American public by putting on the biggest DC deception game we've ever seen. They said the FBI was the most storied institution for law enforcement, and it was. And it will be again very soon. It's a good thing we're here now to clean it up, and you're about to see a wave of transparency.
I mean, Trey, what do you read into all that?
Well, I think the weakest of the 3 investigations is the Supreme Court leaking of the Dobbs decision, because I don't know what federal statute they would be investigating. It's immoral. It probably breaks Supreme Court rules. It's going to get you fired. But what's the federal crime? Plus, you got some branch issues, Bill. I mean, you got the executive branch investigating the judicial branch. Look, I want to know who leaked the opinion. But in terms of federal crimes, you got to start with the D.C. bombing, because I'm almost positive you can't plant a bomb outside any building. So I really want to know that. And then secondly, even in Washington, shockingly, cocaine is against the law. So I want to know that too. Kudos to them for continuing investigations. And I don't understand the argument against continuing an investigation if the statute of limitations hasn't run yet.
And then, so does it matter if affidavits were signed or not?
No, affidavits are completely inadmissible in criminal court. You can't cross-examine an affidavit. So could you pursue someone for lying to the FBI? It depends on who interviewed them. I mean, who asked for the affidavit?
Wow.
I would rather have a sit-down interview with a law enforcement officer with consequences for lying than an affidavit, most of which are not worth the paper they're printed on.
Okay, if you follow this case in Nashville, where the mayor is under suspicion for helping for hindering ICE and helping illegal immigrants. Here's a congressman now from Tennessee. Andy Ogles is his name, from Monday.
The individuals that the mayor is standing with are murderers, rapists, drug traffickers, sexual predators, child traffickers. The list goes on. Which is why I will always stand on the rule of law and with ICE. Because we, the people, have had enough. I choose my community, my state, and my family over this type of nonsense.
What do you make of this, Trey? Because it seems that this is going to go on for some time. You had that judge up in Wisconsin that we covered, and then you had all those camera angles from inside the courthouse when she was trying to help illegals escape ICE agents who were in the hallway. And how often
You
does
also
this
had
go
a member
on?
of Congress arrested. Yeah, you also had a member of Congress arrested for hindering or interfering or assaulting an ICE officer. I do not get very excited when members of Congress talk about pursuing criminal charges because they have no power to do so. I would be really excited if the U.S. Attorney in Tennessee or the SAC, the head of the FBI in Tennessee, or Kash Patel were talking about pursuing.
Guys, this is happening all across the United States. And that's why, again, if we do it at the highest level, this changes everything, guys. Joe Biden and Hunter Biden to be subpoenaed to testify in front of Congress about Joe Biden's mental decline per Fox. We are finally seeing where Congress and the DOJ are finally doing their dang job of showing America that we still have justice in our country. We're still going to do what? Put America first when it comes to the right people. And this is what I love too. Again, there are certain pit bulls. They understand what needs to be done. They understand that, hey, things aren't perfect, but guess what? They're gonna keep fighting to get there, and that's what we want to see. Because when you put forth a big, beautiful bill and no Doge cuts, guess what? Everybody complained. The online campaigns were real, and they actually have scheduled an official vote on Doge cuts this upcoming Monday, guys. That's what we, the people, voted for. And also, listen to this, because again, too, when it comes to Elon Musk and his help with the government and doing everything with the Biden scandal, it's only getting deeper. Check this out.
Carolina and California. Anyway, we're here with more. Texas Senator Ted Cruz, and for all of that, the thanks he gets is, death threats and violence against Tesla dealerships, Tesla charging stations, and Tesla cars. Great.
Well, listen, the left's reaction to Elon Musk shows what utter hypocrites they are. We've seen for the better part of a decade, the left screaming that climate change is going to end humanity and nothing matters more than stopping the internal combustion engine and moving to electric vehicles. Elon Musk started what became the largest electric vehicle manufacturer in the world, Tesla. And 5 years ago, Elon was a hero to the left. And then he had the temerity to actually speak the truth, to support Donald Trump, to speak up against the madness of open borders, to speak up against the insanity of men and women's sports, to speak up against the woke mind virus. And the left decided he was Adolf Hitler. He was the embodiment of evil. They're engaged in domestic terrorism against him. What you said is exactly right. I think the American people ought to be saying to Elon, thank you, thank you, thank you. He came and spent 4 months working for the American people free of charge, didn't collect a salary, made nothing. He rooted out massive waste, fraud, and abuse, and he did so at enormous cost to himself. You look at his stock holdings dropped tens of billions of dollars. It was a personal sacrifice, and the death threats that were directed against him were massive. I think Elon is an extraordinary entrepreneur, an extraordinary business leader. As you know, I interviewed Elon on my podcast, Verdict with Ted Cruz. I spent an hour one-on-one with Elon in the White House. It's absolutely fascinating, his mind, the way it works.
He's brilliant.
Sean, you and I have both known a lot of really smart people in the world. I got to say, Elon is hands down the smartest person I've ever met. Out of 8 billion people, if you assume a normal distribution, someone is at the bleeding edge of the bell curve, and that guy's name is Elon.
I totally agree, and I'm grateful for all he did. And by the way, I bought a Tesla, kind of in solidarity, and I gave one away on my radio show, and it's the best car I've ever driven, the best engineered car. It is the fastest car, the most fun car.
Let's go.
It's really amazing. Let me ask you the big story of the day, and that is, if you want to call it Dementiagate, we can call it Dementiagate, but obviously this is, to me, the biggest White House scandal by far in our lifetime, if not in the history of our republic. The fact that Joe was cognitively compromised, everybody knew, and everybody, we have no idea who was in charge, no idea at all whatsoever, but clearly everybody knew he was not up to the job, and they hid it from the American people.
Sean, it was fundamental dishonesty, and it was deliberate. The Democrats were lying. Every Democrat senator was lying. Every Democrat House member was not lying. Every Democrat cabinet member was lying, and the entire corporate media was lying. Just a week ago, Jake Tapper broke this bombshell book that Biden's mental decline was covered up by Jake Tapper, because Jake Tapper and CNN were utterly complicit in covering it up.
Jake.
And apparently he suddenly discovered.
We call him Fake Jake on this,
and they
this
knew.
Show. Now he's going to profit off it after excoriating Laura Trump and then saying, well, I called her up and she was right, I was wrong. No kidding. I want to get to the bottom of it. we've got to know how bad this was. And it shows the depth of Trump derangement syndrome. Last question. What's the status in the Senate on the one big beautiful bill, Senator? There has been some resistance expressed publicly. Are you confident that bill will get marked up and go to conference with the House and we'll come up with a final bill?
Absolutely. We will get it done. Now, it's going to be bumpy. It's going to be messy. But we will get it done because it is the main vehicle for us to deliver on the mandate from the voters. We are going to secure the border. We're going to rebuild the military. We're going to cut taxes. And I hope and believe the Senate is going to cut spending more than the House, that we're going to see the Senate be more fiscally conservative and to stop bankrupting this country. That's what we need to do.
That you've got to admit, that would be your first.
But
I hope so.
But here's my argument, Sean. There are 53 Republicans in the Senate. I think the 50th most fiscally conservative senator is to the right of the 218th most fiscally conservative House member. Now we just need to stand up and do the right thing.
Do the right thing, guys. And what is the right thing? Putting America first. I have to show you this because this is Representative Burchett out of Tennessee. Right now, this is the thing. He is exposing so much, guys, across the board. We are seeing things we've never seen before or heard before. That he says right now, Donald J. Trump governs and you're seeing justice come. It might be a little late, and I'm afraid too many of the rats left the ship before it sunk. He said he hopes the DOJ will go after those who have been involved in collusion. And what are we talking about, guys? We're talking about all the USAID spending. All the money that was supposedly be going to help. I mean, we're talking $60 billion. A lot of those people aren't there anymore. People that were at the Treasury. People that were at the Department of Education. All these places that we're starting to find out the money actually never went where it was supposed to go. This is the corruption. And again, too, it breaks my heart because when we look at what Trump is trying to do, what Doge is trying to do, this is some of the biggest news that we've got today, guys, is that a federal judge just gave Doge the green light to access sensitive payment data in the Treasury Department. Why? Because that's where the money flows out from. That's where the checks are written. That's where we need to be able to see who got the cheddar cheese, guys. Who got the money? Fred Samuel, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. He said everyone involved in Biden administration deserves prison time. I don't know if I'd say everybody, but I'd say probably a good majority of them that covered up all the fraud, the waste, the abuse. And again, too, one of Trump's right-hand persons, Stephen Miller, guys, who's now telling us, look, there's lots of things happening behind the scenes that we don't even see right now. And this is what I love. Because again, too, transparency is everything right now. We're trying to clean up the border. We're trying to get a big, beautiful bill passed with all the tax cuts. Trying to make sure that we don't start a World War III. Trying to make sure that our seniors are taken care of, guys. Listen to this.
Minimum of 3,000 arrests per day, and Stephen Miller joins us now with more. All right, so you and Kristi Noem are pushing for 3,000 a day, but you're also going to fortify ICE. And the one big beautiful bill, my understanding is with at least $147 billion more for them to accomplish that goal. Explain.
Yes, well, under President Trump's leadership, we are looking to set a goal of a minimum of 3,000 arrests for ICE every day, and President Trump is going to keep pushing to get that number up higher each and every single day so we can get all of the Biden illegals that were flooded into our country for 4 years.
3,000, just think about this, guys. Let's do the quick math. 3,000 illegals that are removed per day times, even if it was every single day of the year, including Christmas, That's 1,095,000. In 4 years, 4 million. If they were to do it every single day with no increase. Over 11 plus million came in within 4 years, guys. We're in a bad spot when it comes to not knowing who's in the country. The amount of taxpayer benefits, you're talking hundreds of billions of dollars into the trillions over the next 4 years that will be given to non-citizens And we literally have American citizens that are hurting right now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Out of our country, and we can't take the risk of letting these Biden illegals roam around freely so that the next American daughter can get raped, the next American kid can get murdered, the next American family can get splintered and torn apart by people that came into this country unchecked, uncontrolled, unvetted, uninvited by the American people. As to the reconciliation bill, Sean, there's been so much said about how incredible the big, beautiful bill is. The largest tax cut and reform in American history. The most significant energy reform, unlocking American energy in American history. Deregulation like we have never seen before. The most significant, largest welfare reform in American history. But the bill also includes the complete fulfillment of President Trump's campaign promises on every aspect of immigration and homeland security so that we can have permanently the safest, strongest, most secure immigration system in American history, Sean.
All right, so we'll secure the border. We will deport criminal illegals. Again, the money will be put in that one big, beautiful bill. But also, it will lead America towards energy dominance. We also have the $10 trillion that the president has in commitments for manufacturing, for semiconductors, pharmaceuticals, automobiles inside of America. But it also includes other things. The biggest tax cut in American history, no tax on tips, Social Security, or overtime. All of that is in the bill, and law and order will make a resurgence under Donald Trump. So you confident that bill gets passed too?
I'm absolutely confident. Sean, I've been around Washington for a long time, longer than I cared to admit, and I've been a student of American history for much longer than that. Never, Sean, has a single piece of legislation had so many conservative, pro-American priorities all in one bill.
Let's
go.
You
and I rattled so many of them off. This is the biggest, most significant, substantial reform to America's welfare programs we've ever seen. This is the largest tax cut and reform in American history, including, as you mentioned, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, tax-deductible interest on American-made car loans. This bill also includes a complete expensing for anyone that builds a new factory in America, bringing back our manufacturing jobs, creating economic independence for America, unleashing American energy and making sure that those energy investments are secure over the long haul. One win for the American people, the American taxpayer after another. And lest I forget, the Golden Dome, Sean, making sure that America is safe from foreign enemies that would launch missiles onto our territory. And the bill cuts nearly $2 trillion in federal spending, making it the biggest spending cut there's ever been in a single bill. This is a...
Guys, you have to tell me, because again, he mentioned it, the Golden Dome. Now, Trump has told him you either pay $61 billion to be a part of the Golden Dome, or you can become the 51st state and not have to pay anything, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this is huge. Trump wants security. He wants to have Canada. Imagine being the guy who said, oh yeah, we added Canada as president. Sassy Madeline, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show Sassy some love in the chat. Guys, I love it. This would be huge. This is America winning. This is Trump and putting America first, baby. We're going to protect our country and make sure that nothing can happen to us. And guess what? If we can gain another country at the same time, then why not, guys? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button. I want to say thank you to all of our viewers, all of our subscribers, guys. Thank you so much for your support. We cannot thank you enough. We're truly grateful that you support our channel every single day. And want to say, if you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family here at TrueLife News. We want to serve you with the truth every day. And if you click that subscribe button, I promise you, we're going to bust our butt to give you all the best news every single day, the breaking news as it's happening. That is our promise. I want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel, and thank you so much to everybody that has given a super chat donation. Remember, this money goes to our local charities, and we are changing people's lives, especially when it comes to the kids, guys. When we donate, in the past 8 months, we've donated over $36,000 live on stream. And to me, this is my heart. This is us changing lives. And I want to give some love to our members of the channel and give some love to Greg, Fred Samuel, Michelle Eisner, Sassy Madeline. Guys, show them some love in the chat. We thank you so much for liking our videos, for sharing our videos. And we just want to, like I said, continue to serve you. Putting right there, America first. We love our country, and we want to do what's best for our country, our seniors, our kids, our families. Guys, we love you, appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.